Hello friend, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you some new markers that Karin Markers just came out with, but I'm also going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks for lettering with these. I'm going to show you a comparison of blending them on a couple of different types of paper, and I will be showing you some swatches of these new colors. Now, this is not a sponsored video, but Karin Markers did send this pack to me. They actually sent it to me because I was storing my markers wrong because I had thrown away this box. I will tell you about that later, but they were so kind to send me this new box so that I didn't have to store them horizontally because apparently you are not supposed to do that. And I was really excited because this box included the new colors. So if you're ready to learn some things about the new Karin brush markers and see some examples for how to use them with hand lettering, let's get started. First, I wanted to show you the box that has these amazing colors of the Karin Brushmarker Pro. If you can see on the right hand side of the box, there are some differently spaced markers, and those are the new colors, and those are neons, which I think is so fun. So if we compare the neon colors to the other colors, just the outside of the brush markers, the neons have black clips and some black printing on the body of the marker, where the original colors have kind of a translucent gray clip with silver printing on the body of the marker. But they also do say neon on the label in case you get confused. With these Karin brush markers, I believe they don't have the colors printed right on the pen, but there is this label on the side that has it printed, so the ones that are neon are noted that way. So with that said, we should probably do some swatches of these new colors. I didn't take them all out and line them up because honestly this is my second box of Karin markers, and with the first one I took them all out of the box and then I gave some away, and it just made it hard to do videos for you guys swatching them since I didn't really keep them in order. I had posted over on Instagram how I was keeping these organized, and I got some messages from you guys and also from the brand that was like, please keep storing them upright. And like I mentioned, I didn't have the box, so now I have it and I'm just going to keep them this way. Please bear with me on the brightness of this. I do turn the camera brightness down quite a bit so that you can see these. I normally keep my lighting a little bit brighter, but obviously some of these are some really bright colors and it can be kind of blinding. There are certain colors that tend to feel softer to me, like the tip just bends down much further. Some of these you might notice have like really thick downstrokes. And I've noticed that with the metallic colors, and I also thought that this first color I tried of the neons felt softer as well, but I think I've noticed that with different brands too, so I've kind of just chalked it up to the pigment just maybe reacting differently depending on the color, but I would be curious to know if you've tried them and felt the same thing, and if so, which colors. It totally wasn't an issue for me, it's just an observation that I've made because I test out a lot of pens, and oftentimes I test out a lot of different colors at once, so it can maybe be a little bit easier for me to feel that because I'm comparing them all at the same time. But again, it's totally not an issue and it could just be random, it's just an observation. Overall, they are really vibrant colors. You can kind of tell that some of them look a little bit juicier than the others, but overall Karin markers are just a really juicy marker in my experience. I'm also using a really smooth paper, which I think can help highlight the vibrancy and juiciness of different types of brush pens. Not to mention I have lighting above my desk, so sometimes when they are juicy you'll see the light kind of bounce off of them, and that can kind of make them look even more vibrant. But overall, like I said, I think that Karin markers are just a really juicy, vibrant type of brush pen. And I don't know what you think about these colors, but these last four colors are so beautiful. They are so bold and so vibrant. I am just really impressed with them. Next, I wanted to show you a little blending with these. I actually started out blending kind of backwards. So typically when blending, you're going to want to use the lighter colored marker and then add the darker color over the top of it. Whether that means you're adding the darker color to the tip of the lighter colored brush pen, or you're coloring the darker color on a ceramic surface and then picking it up with a lighter colored brush pen. That is typically how I recommend doing blending. So after I adjusted my colors, I did some colors that I thought might have a little bit more contrast with the indigo blue and the magenta. I know that a lot of times people blend with much more contrasting colors, but my style is a little bit more low-key and I appreciate some subtle blending. That being said, with these, I would probably try to do the pickup method with these because as you can see, the blue wrote off really quickly. So like the beginning of the word is blue and then the end not so much. And honestly, that makes total sense to me considering how juicy these markers are. So by coloring the darker onto like a piece of ceramic or plastic and then picking it up with the lighter marker, you can then pick up more color after every stroke or every other stroke to achieve a little bit more of a balanced blending across the entire portion of your word. These markers also do really great to blend, kind of like where you write one letter with one color and then switch it to another color. They tend to kind of blend nicely into each other, so I'm going to show you that next. And one thing that I think can be a common curiosity with these markers is which kind of paper to use. So I am curious about this too, because you do see people doing this really beautiful blending with these markers simply by drawing the colors into each other or maybe adding a bit of water, but not all paper holds up to water or really juicy markers, so I thought that I would test out a few more specialty type of papers with these markers to see what works best. So for starters, I am going to start with a Karin Bristol paper. This one is the paper pad with the yellow cover, so if you're not familiar with Bristol paper, it's like a really smooth, thick paper. So kind of similar to how watercolor paper is really thick, but it doesn't have all of the added texture that you find with watercolor paper. It's also not cheap, so you will not see me doing a ton of practice on this type of paper, but it can be really great for certain types of projects, so I wanted to test out a couple of these different specialty papers for you to compare. The second one that I'm using is the Karin Bristol Vellum. And then the last paper that I'm going to use is the Strathmore Mixed Media paper, and it says Vellum Surface. I will link all of these in the description box below so that you can check them out for yourself and make sure that I'm getting them exactly right. But as you can see, since these markers kind of dry a little bit more slowly, you can kind of take a little bit of water and just kind of blend them together. Now, it's not watercolor paper, so it doesn't bleed out as nicely. You can kind of see some water spots, especially on the ones where I added more water. But I hope that this is a really good example for you of how these kind of work with different kinds of paper, because with some of them the edges did bleed a little bit more. I will show you a side-by-side comparison of all of them at the end. And I will also write up a blog post about this with some more information so that I can get into some more of the details, and I will link that in the description box below for you as well. But overall, I really like these markers. I just wanted to point out again, make sure that you keep them stored vertically, not horizontally. If you have these markers, I would love to know which paper that you have found works best for you. I actually do have a full Karin Markers review, so I'm not going to go into all of the different specs of these markers, but I will link that review for you in the description box below so that you can check it out for yourself. And if you are wanting to learn how to hand letter, I do have a couple of free resources for you available. I have a free 7-day hand lettering course that you can take. It is just an email course that will be sent to your email inbox, and it has worksheets and some exclusive videos and things like that. And then if you have already taken that or are not interested in that, I do have a free resource library on my website. There you can download free printables to help you practice hand lettering, and I have some bullet journaling things in there as well. So you can find those at howtohandletter.com/mini course for this 7-day hand lettering course. And you can find my resource library at howtohandletter.com/resource library. So I hope that those will help you if you are trying to learn how to hand letter. Also, thank you again to Karin Markers for sending me these, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one.